I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about mindfulness. Mindfulness forms a big part of the foundations of recovery and acceptance and commitment therapy that we engage in here at Emerging Futures. It forms part of our key part of our programs. And I want to talk to you a little bit about mindfulness and the primitive part of the brain, the amygdala, the part that is responsible for the fight and flight response, which very often we'll find ourselves engaged in when we're lost in addiction. I'm going to show you just a very brief mindfulness breathing exercise. Although mindfulness, when it's incorporated into life in general, can be widespread and used in many different areas of life. But the exercise I'm going to demonstrate is just a very simple breathing type exercise. One of the things that it's good for is it just helps us to calm the mind and bring us very much into the moment. If we're locked in that fight or flight response, if we're engaged in the kind of activities that addiction certainly brings us to, one of the things that will calm us instantly almost is our use of our substance. Whereas mindfulness may not be anywhere near as powerful and as instant, but with practice and by incorporating it into our lives on a daily basis, it can go some way into bringing us some relief that our substance may do in an older form of life. So the exercise that I'm going to show you is just a very brief breathing exercise, and the importance is to focus on the physicality of the breathing. It's something that we do automatically every day of our lives and something that we take for granted, but to actually bring our attention to the in-breath and the out-breath and focus as fully on it as we can, that can have a very relaxing effect. For instance, ordinarily I would be sitting, and it's easier for me just to close my eyes, but it could be done with your eyes open. And just by placing my hand on the lower part of my abdomen, on my stomach, and to try to breathe in deeply. It's very natural to fill the chest, but if we actually make a conscious effort to breathe in and hold the breath deep, almost force out the abdomen, and then to let the breath go. And to do this repeatedly and naturally for as long as it takes for us to fill and release. I'm focusing on the physicality of the exercise. The physical sensations of the air moving in and out of my body. Perhaps the rise and fall of my shoulders and the in and out, the up and down of my abdomen. And that exercise can be practiced, and probably needs to be practiced, as often as possible. It's of course like many new pathways, as in new pathways in the brain, it's only with practice that the pathways become wider and that the exercise becomes more natural. One of the things that will happen whilst I'm trying to do this is various thoughts may come. Thoughts may come of how silly this might seem, or how difficult this might be, or what am I going to have for tea, or how difficult it is to find a plumber. 1,000,001 different thoughts may come to my mind. But the idea is to acknowledge those thoughts and to, as gently as we can, let them go and focus back on the physicality of how does that physically feel? The breath in and the breath out. And in a nutshell, that is a mindful exercise.